year, the free carried interest is 13%. 13% will necessarily acquire an additional 6%, which would have meant that the government of Ghana will be entitled to 19%. Mr. Speaker, not only that, we did not end there. We insisted that Atlantic Lithium will list on the Ghana Stock Exchange, and that a minimum of 40% will be owned by the Ghanaian people. And Mr. Speaker, I had the privilege of officially getting Atlantic Lithium to list on the Ghana Stock Exchange, and what the Ghanaian people would have gotten would have been 40%, and that would have meant this whole operation will be truly an indigenous Ghanaian operation. That was the agreement we negotiated. That was the agreement. Mr. Speaker, we went a step further, that the community, Ewoya, the community will be entitled to 1% community development fund. Mr. Speaker, I see this agreement talks about 13%, and I will refer the House, Mr. Speaker, to page 7 of the report. Page 7. And Mr. Speaker, there is a classic difference between what the Akufo-Addo government negotiated for and what is being presented to this House today. And what is the difference? And Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I quote paragraph 7.3, titled Interest of Minerals Income Investment Fund in the project. It says, the committee noted that the Minerals Income Investment Fund, MIF, has taken an equity interest in the parent company, Atlantic Lithium. However, MIF is yet to take an equity stake in the mining projects. The committee recommends that the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources take steps to ensure that MIF takes the equity stake in the mining project as contemplated under the agreement. Mr. Speaker, in the case of the agreement we presented in this House, MIF's acquisition of the 6% in the project was a condition precedent for the project to take off. This particular arrangement is not a condition precedent, which is why the report says they urge the ministry to take steps. I would have thought that MIF taking equity in the project ought to be a condition precedent. Be that as it may, it's a good attempt, but it's not an attempt which is as good as what we presented before this House on 16 July 2024. Mr. Speaker, finally, Mr. Speaker, and I see the minister is engaged, but finally, Mr. Speaker, when it comes to the green minerals of the world, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the most important aspect.
Honorable former Minister Holdy, yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there's a need for clarity in these matters. You spoke about the equity of MIF. My understanding is that the 6% interest equity, MIF is taking equity in Atlantic Lithium, okay? But that 6% interest is different from taking a stake in the mining project, the project itself. So which one was a condition precedent? Because there's some misunderstanding there. So let us have some clarity exactly what you are talking about. Because you say that in your agreement, the 6% is a condition precedent. But that has been done already. MIF has taken the 6% already. Now there's a second phase of it, which is the project itself, which is what we are urging MIF to take an interest in the project.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that is exactly the point I'm seeking to make. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, we are more than happy from this side to assist our friends to pass this report, to assist my good friend and successor, the minister, to get on with this business, because the management and exploitation of the green minerals of the world is such a difficult task, complex one with far-reaching implications. And that is why I'm concluding on one final point, Mr. Speaker, which is that historically, all minerals in our country which have been exploited, we all across the aisle have come to a consensus that we have not gotten the full benefit of these minerals because of the lack of value addition, because these minerals are exported in their raw form, what the pandits will say, dig and ship. When my senior uncle, Honorable Collins Dada, was minister, it was the same. When I was minister, it was the same. They mine these minerals and they export them without adding value, which is why, Mr. Speaker, the point was made that in the case of these newly found critical minerals of the future, particularly lithium, we should make a clear effort of adding value to the lithium resource of our country. The agreement I brought before this, that agreement insisted clearly, not with discretion, it insisted in black and white that the lithium resources of our country cannot be exported in their raw form, and that they will have to be processed to the level of condensates before they can be exported. And therefore, the company was obligated to set up a refinery here in Ghana to refine the lithium they mine into condensate before they can export the mineral. In fact, Mr. Speaker, in Zimbabwe, the Zimbabweans have actually outrightly banned the export of lithium in this raw form. Mr. Speaker, and so that was the agreement we brought here, which is why I am sounding a word of caution. Mr. Speaker, I have looked through this 12-page report.
Honorable Minister, can you conclude for me?
Thank you, Mr.
Honorable Minister, you
Mr.
agree
Speaker,
I have given you a length of time.
Mr. Speaker, let me conclude. Mr. Speaker, let me conclude. And the reason why I make this point just to enrich whatever outcome comes out of this discussion. Mr. Speaker, it's very important. Mr. Speaker, if you export the lithium in its raw form, you shortchange your country. And our friends from the other side, the NDC, they made this point very, very strongly, and even cited countries in South America where lithium and other green minerals are being exploited and the kind of arrangements which have been made. In fact, on one occasion, it was even suggested that the state itself should exploit these minerals and that private sector should not be involved, and that Ghana should find money to exploit these minerals, and if we do not have the money, we should not even mine the mineral, we should wait. Those were the arguments which were made, and I'm making the point that the agreement I brought here had a clause in there, a mandatory clause, that Barari DV will have to set up a refinery in Ghana and refine our lithium into condensate, value-added form of the lithium before it is exported. And indeed, they even presented a scoping report. They did research and did the modeling, the project modeling in setting up a refinery in Ghana, which will ensure that we add value to the lithium resource. I have looked at this 12-page report. That is missing, Mr. Speaker. That is troubling. That is disturbing. Every Ghanaian should be concerned. Civil society should be concerned. This House should be concerned. The majority should be concerned. So, Mr. Speaker, I conclude by saying that they say, the old people say that pray to the Almighty to live long and you shall see a lot. If we had ended on the 16th of July 2024, Mr. Speaker, we will not see this day, the 19th of March 2026. We will not see that this same agreement is being presented to this House with 13% free carried interest that we negotiated for 19%. We will not see, Mr. Speaker, that this agreement will be presented to this House without a provision of value addition. We will not see that the agreement that is being presented is fundamentally the same as what was opposed by our friends. On that note, Mr. Speaker, may they withdraw this report. They withdrew it. They laid it on 11 November 2025. They withdrew it again 10 December. They laid it again 19 December. It's still not too late. The lithium resources are so important to the Ghanaian people. We are opposed to this report. Find a way of refining it so that we can add value to the lithium resources of our country for the benefit of the Ghanaian people. That is what will help our country. I thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
But Minister, you will just be concluding. Minister, you will be concluding. Yes, you will be concluding. So, Honorable Sanja Nanja.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the motion numbered on today's order paper, motion number 10. That this Honorable House adopt the report of the Committee on Lands and Natural Resources on the mining lease agreement between Government of the Republic of Ghana, represented by Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and Berari DV Ghana Limited for the mining of lithium and other minerals at Mankesim, 42.63 kilometers square in the Mfantsipim municipality of the Central Region. Mr. Speaker, today, one of the challenges that we are facing is with mining is environment, the protection of our environment. The committee was particularly about how the company will preserve our environment. And the Chief Executive Officer of the EPA assured us that even though the environmental permit that was granted to the company has expired, every process is being put in place, and a renewal of the environmental protection permit will soon be granted to the company. And also went further to assure the committee that the company shall ensure the agreement went further to assure us that the company shall ensure compensation of resources, conservation of resources, reclamation of land, and protection of our environment. Mr. Speaker, one other area that we looked at was job creation. And as at now, the company, if this agreement is rectified, is to employ over 1,000 youth in the catchment area for direct mining jobs. And indirect jobs are unquantifiable. Mr. Speaker, it's also to note that taxes, the company is not giving waivers or exemption from taxes, and all the taxes that is enshrined in our legislations and statutes will be paid to the government, and royalties will equally be paid according to the prescribed laws in today the sliding scale. As we speak today, the price of lithium, and then comparing with the sliding scale, royalties, government is going to earn a royalty of 10%. And as the lithium prices goes on to increase, as the lithium prices keep on increasing at the world market, it could rise up to 12% of the royalty. Mr. Speaker, on the job creation, the company, the chiefs, Mr. Speaker, the chiefs and people of the catchment area, opinion members, assembly members, youth groups, CVOs, and all identifiable groups in the area were invited to our meeting. And as you say that the chiefs and the people have fully given their support to this project, in the sense that they said this project, when it comes to the area, their local economy is going to be boosted. And also, they are going to see massive development, social amenities, especially with the community development fund of annual 1%, which will accrue to the community $6 million a year. So, Mr. Speaker, given the support that the chiefs and the people from the area is giving to the project, the committee recommended that the House should rectify this agreement so that the economy can be boosted, youth in the place can get jobs to do. So, Mr. Speaker, with these few words, I call on the House to rectify the other side to join us, rectify the agreement. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I take for granted the fact that this report made provision for environmental issues in the contract area, and indeed stated that the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, will be required to issue an environmental permit before any operations can take place. But, Mr. Speaker, in my view, the environmental provisions in the agreement are not adequate. Lithium production has significant negative footprint. The key environmental issues relate to water contamination, soil degradation and pollution, waste generation, even e-waste. The footprint is quite colossal wherever lithium is being produced. But environmental permit really, Mr. Speaker, does not address environmental mitigation, because the permit is issued before the operation starts. But during operations, when you have environmental disaster, how do you mitigate that? The agreement has to provide for it. In most jurisdictions, the polluter pay principle applies. But even with the polluter pay principle, it is important that financial guarantees are provided so that when there is an environmental disaster, the company does not give an excuse that they don't have sufficient resources to mitigate. And this is why, in addition to the polluter principle, financial guarantees have to be provided. Mr. Speaker, two ways of addressing this is to request the company to post an environmental bond so that in the event of such a disaster, the bond is liquidated to mitigate the effect of the disaster. The other way to do this is to set up an environmental mitigation fund so that a certain percentage of the revenue from the sale of the products will be put into the fund to be used to mitigate against any disaster when it occurs. Mr. Speaker, these are all absent in the agreement. And therefore, I side with my colleague that this report be withdrawn and these major environmental mitigation issues are addressed, because that is very key, Mr. Speaker. If they are not addressed, then I will have a difficulty voting for this report. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, because of the environmental concerns, communities that will be affected are too exposed. But I see only 1% of annual revenue required to be put in a community development fund. 1% of annual revenues. This may not be enough if you match it against the enormous negative footprint lithium production could bring to our communities. And so I propose that we should increase it to 2%, if not even 3%, so that communities are properly compensated because of the effects they will have to contend with, because of the risk associated with lithium production. Mr. Speaker, if we cannot do this, we will be exposing the communities too much without preparing to provide the amenities that could help them cope with the footprint lithium production will bring on them. And so these two issues, Mr. Speaker, I think need to be looked at seriously. And therefore, if our friends on the other side will agree to take this report out, withdraw this report and address these issues and bring it, we will all be happy when they bring the report back with these modifications. We will all be happy to support this, and I believe Ghanaians will support it fully. And I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Yes, minority leadership.
Speaker, I rise to sum up the views of this side of the House, the minority caucus. Speaker, the report before us is in respect of the revised mining lease agreement between the government of the Republic of Ghana and the Barare DV Ghana Limited, a subsidiary of Atlantic Lithium Limited, granting rights for the mining of lithium and other associated minerals at Ewoya in the Mfanteman Municipality, Central Region, a region where I come from. The agreement is presented for ratification pursuant to Article 2681 of the 1992 Constitution. Speaker, let me state for the records that this side of the House, the minority, is ever ready at all times to support development of Ghana's lithium resources, since the development of these resources would amount to job creation, increased opportunities, and creates an economic hub in the Central Region, which reports has it that Central Region has a high level of poverty because of lack of jobs. Mr. Speaker, the project at Ewoya represents a historic opportunity for Ghana to participate in global green energy transition. But our concerns are the terms on which the government proposes to cede these rights over Ghana's mineral endowment. The regulatory architecture that now frames those terms and the pace at which Parliament is being asked to act. It is upon these that the minority oppose this agreement in its present form and shape. and earlier my respected colleague Abu Jinapo, and my own senior Dr. Mohammed Adam had cause to reiterate the views of our caucus. Mr. Speaker, my duty is to provide a summation of all related issues underlining our reason for rejecting this report. Mr. Speaker, you may recall that in October 2023, the Nana Akufo-Addo administration negotiated and signed a mining lease with Barari DV Ghana Limited, securing 1, a royalty rate of 10%, elevated from the statutory floor of 5%, a free carried interest of 13% for the state, an additional 6% equity stake through the Minerals Income and Investment Fund, bringing total participation to a reported 19%, and a requirement for local stock exchange listing. Our friends, then in opposition, vehemently rejected and blocked the ratification. They argued that the terms were insufficient, that agreement lapsed unratified at the dissolution of the 8th Parliament as a result. Upon assuming office in January 2025, Mr. Speaker, the NDC administration renegotiated this agreement. The product of that renegotiation is an agreement that at current market price yields a royalty of 5%, the same statutory floor that prevailed before MPP's negotiation, and at price of $2,250 per ton that prevailed when the original 10% was negotiated in 2023, will yield only 7% under the new sliding scale. Mr. Speaker, it is further on record that Barari DV Ghana Limited was prepared to proceed with the project under the original 10% fixed royalty. The minority invite this House to place that fact alongside the government's decision to grant concessions and to demand a full and frank explanation for that reversal. Mr. Speaker, first, we want to invite this House to look at the regulatory context. In this sense, we proceed to submit that the LI and the GSL amendment ought to be critically looked at. Mr. Speaker, in drawing the attention of the House to the regulatory sequence that immediately preceded this debate, as it is directly material to any vote on this mining lease. Mr. Speaker, the Minerals and Mining Royalty Regulation 2025, our colleague, the chair of subsidiary legislation, sounded the alarm bell, but our friends will not listen. On December 19, 2025, our respected colleague, a former deputy minority leader and now a minister of state responsible for this sector, laid the Minerals and Mining Royalty Regulation 2025 before Parliament, introducing a sliding scale royalty regime for gold, lithium and other minerals. Mr. Speaker, for lithium and spodumene, the price band are 5%, that is up to $1,500 USD per ton. 7%, that is 1,501 to 2,500 per ton, and 10%, which is 2,501 to $3,000 per ton, and 12%, which is above 3,000 tons. Mr. Speaker, the legislative instrument matured into law on March 9, 2026, having completed the constitutional required 21 sitting days without amendment. Our caucus, the minority, notes that at the time of the original MPP negotiation in 2023, the spodumene prices stood at approximately 2,250 per ton, yielding a 10% fixed royalty. Under the government's own new framework, the same price of 2,250 falls in the 7% band. In other words, the sliding scale delivers a lower royalty than the fixed rate that existed when the deal was first made at precisely the price level used as a reference point for that deal. Mr. Speaker, this is not an improvement on the MPP steps. At any price below 2,500 per ton, it is a regression and we beg to submit. Mr. Speaker, our colleague, Honorable Patrick Yabuama, warned publicly on 10th March 2026 that the royalty regulation could cost Ghana close to 1 million jobs by deterring mining investment. Those concerns were not resolved before the LI matured. Parliament now faces a request to ratify a mining lease governed by a regulatory instrument about which the minority's most fundamental concerns remain outstanding. Mr. Speaker, let me delve into the Growth and Sustainability Levy, the GSL Act 2026, as amended. Speaker, Parliament has passed the Growth and Sustainability Levy Amendment Act 2026, reducing the levy on mining companies from 3% to 1% of gross production. The government stated that the rationale was that GSL increase from 1 to 3% was originally introduced to compensate for the absence of the windfall tax mechanism, and that the new sliding scale royalty regime now performs that function. Mr. Speaker, we disagree. We urge this House to delay the third reading of that bill for further scrutiny because stakeholders were expressing concerns, especially our bilateral partners. However, this House proceeded over that objection. We, however, draw Parliament's attention to the net effect. Whatever additional royalty revenue the sliding scale regime is projected to generate must be assessed against the revenue forgone through the GSL reduction. The government has not presented Parliament with a consolidated net revenue analysis, and Parliament cannot responsibly ratify this lease without understanding what Ghana is on the balance actually gaining. I repeat, we do not know what we are actually gaining, and we are being asked to ratify this. Mr. Speaker, we want to now turn to our concerns as a caucus regarding the revised terms. 1. The royalty structure and unverified financial assumptions. Mr. Speaker, it is our contention that government has accepted the Atlantic Lithium's claim that a sharp decline in global lithium prices of approximately 80% from 2022 to 2022-2023 peak renders the project unviable under a 10% fixed royalty, and that its post-tax internal rate of return has collapsed to 13.6%. The minority notes
Minority Leader, Honorable Abednego. Is that Abednego, the member who turns his back towards the maze? Yes, so you can continue.
Speaker, the minority notes that the Natural Resource Governance Institute has modeled the project independently and found it economically viable even at $785 per ton of spodumene concentrate. Mr. Speaker, the company has not publicly disclosed the assumptions involved in its revised IRR estimate. Mr. Speaker, Parliament is being invited to ratify royalty concessions premised on financial projections that remain unverified and undisclosed. This is not a sound basis for the exercise of Parliament ratification function under Article 268. Mr. Speaker, second, the transfer pricing and offtake risk. Mr. Speaker, the Piedmont Lithium holds approximately 22.5% equity in the Ewoyaa project and has entered an offtake agreement to purchase 50% of the project's production for its U.S. refining operations. Mr. Speaker, refineries outside of China routinely require below benchmark pricing to remain viable. If Barere DV sells spodumene to Piedmont at below benchmark prices. Ghana's royalty base, computed on mine revenues, is correspondingly reduced. The minority is not satisfied that the revised agreement or the royalty regulations LI adequately addresses this risk through benchmark-based pricing requirement, benchmark-based pricing requirement, or related party transaction protection. Mr. Speaker, it has to be emphasized that these concerns were raised when the LI came up for consideration, but our friends opposite ignored. Mr. Speaker, the third issue has to do with community impact. We acknowledge the genuine hardship endured by farming families and communities in the concession area, where a moratorium on farmlands has disrupted livelihood for over 2 years. Communities in Ewoya, Amanse, Nankesido, Anochi, Abonko, and Chafu have been patient and have waited long. Our side of the house is not indifferent to that reality. However, Mr. Speaker, we beg to submit that the Agency of Community Relief does not justify a structurally weak agreement. A 1% community development fund from gross revenue, while welcome, does not compensate for a royalty regime that at current prices delivers the statutory minimum. These communities deserve both a timely resolution and an agreement that maximizes the long-term royalty and development dividends available to them and to the Republic. Mr. Speaker, on the basis of all that I have submitted, on behalf of my colleagues, the following are our demands. Mr. Speaker, 1.
Yes, Minority Leader, just a minute. Honorable James Akaga.
You don't have your numbers. Don't cause any problem that would create further problem for you. You continue what you're doing. There's an agreement at leadership level, and you come back and will rise on point of order. Continue. You see the consequences.
See, Honorable Minority
You see
Leader,
the consequences.
Honorable Minority Leader, I hold you in high esteem, but it's not everything that you should be placing into the hands of. Yes.
But no, the minority leader is intimidating me.
Let me hear you. Yes.
Speaker, the minority that holds the conscience of society and this democracy hereby submit the following for the consideration of this House. 1. Net revenue analysis. Mr. Speaker, we request that the minister table before any vote is taken a consolidated net revenue analysis comparing the projected state revenues and the NPP's original fixed 10% royalty against those under the revised sliding scale regime, net of the GSL reduction from 3 to 1%. Parliament cannot assess the value of this agreement in isolation from its companion legislative changes. I repeat, Parliament cannot assess the value of this agreement in isolation from its companion legislative changes. Second, Mr. Speaker, we demand a full disclosure of financial assumptions. The minority requests that the minister make available the full financial model and revised assumptions submitted by Atlantic Lithium and Barara DV Ghana Limited in support of its request for royalty concessions, including the basis for the claimed IRR of 13.6%. I expect the minister to take note and respond appropriately. Mr. Speaker, third, benchmark pricing protections. We've done a lot of research on this matter. You can't take it for granted. It's not mere policies we're doing. Take note. Mr. Speaker, the minority requests that the minister confirm whether the revised agreement includes benchmark-based pricing requirements for offtake sales to related parties, including Piedmont Lithium. If not, we want to see proposals for such provisions which should be made and submitted before this ratification. Mr. Speaker, fourth, transfer pricing and anti-avoidance. We also call for an explicit protection in the agreement against profit shifting through related party transactions, including limits on interest deductions and clear dividend distribution rules, consistent with the recommendations of the Natural Resource Governance Institute. You are already aware of their recommendation. They brought it to you. 5, non-dilution of state equity. Mr. Speaker, this is very critical and the minister must pay attention to this. The minority requests confirmation that the revised agreement includes a non-dilution clause, protecting the state equity stake from reduction through future capital costs or corporate restructuring. Mr. Speaker, a lot of times Ghana has suffered under this, where there's a way these investors dilute their shares under restructuring in one way or the other. We want to be sure that the minister has actually secured for us as a country a non-dilution clause that will protect our interests as a country. Mr. Speaker, 6, Community Development Fund governance. Mr. Speaker, the minority also demands full details of the governance, disbursement structure, and the oversight mechanism for 1% community development fund to ensure that host communities receive the promised benefits in a timely and accountable manner. Mr. Speaker, now we speak for the people. Most of the time, such investors, when they come, they abandon the community. We don't just want talks. It should be enshrined in the document that you want us to ratify today, so that the local people will benefit from this. Else, Mr. Speaker, if we sign this document, Parliament approves this today, that will be the end of the local people. If the majority is not looking at this, we on this side of the house stand with the people. Mr. Speaker, we also demand from our respected minister independent expert assessment. Mr. Speaker, we call on Parliament to invite from credible institutions, including NRGI and the Ghana Revenue Authority, an independent assessment of the revised terms and their long-term net revenue implication before this ratification. Mr. Speaker, with all of these said, we humbly conclude by saying that at any point that the ministry and its minister is able to come to the table for further engagement on these key concerns and ensure that the agreement factor these in, we, the minority, will be ready to support the ratification. Mr. Speaker, currently, however, we are not prepared at all to endorse this agreement, as same is premised on unverifiable financial assumptions, governed by a regulatory instrument rushed into law over the minority's initial objection, and structured in a manner that at the current and recent price levels deliver unacceptable royalty than the deal the same NDC rejected in opposition. Our country's lithium endowment is a generational asset. The terms on which it is leased will outlast this parliament, the 9th parliament, and we will define the revenue, employment, and the community development benefits that flow to Ghana for the duration of the mine's life. Parliament has a constitutional bona fide under Article 268 to scrutinize those terms with rigor, not to validate a legislative sequence that has been engineered to foreclose a debate. Mr. Speaker, We therefore call on this House, and in fact we insist on the disclosures and the protections outlined in our submission before a vote is taken. We owe that standard of care to the people of Ewoya, the people of Ghana, and above all, the integrity of this House and its parliamentary oversight. Mr. Speaker, I respectfully submit, therefore, that the agreement in its current form and shape is opposed, Mr. Speaker, and government must not wait on CSOs to come with their criticism before they do another U-turn. Mr. Speaker, all that said, I rest my case without more. Thank you very much.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, if my colleague, the Minority Leader, had served me a copy of what he just read, I would have also prepared a lengthy, statement to read. But, Mr. Speaker, I have not brought before me a written script. But I will speak extempo and respond to him appropriately. Mr. Speaker, let it be known that the former Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, my very good friend, Honorable Abu Jinapo, has said that there is no material difference between the agreement that he brought to this House and the agreement that we are considering today. That there is no material difference. That it is in essence the same agreement. No material difference. Mr. Speaker, I think it is important to know that
Honorable Majority Leader, yes, Honorable Abu Jinapo.
Mr. Speaker, most respectfully, for the record, I did not say what the Majority Leader is attributing to me.
What did you say?
Mr. Speaker, I did not.
What did you say?
Mr. Speaker, the Minority Leader, the Minority Leader should stop intimidating. The Minority Leader should stop intimidating his members. The Minority Leader should stop intimidating his members. Things that they said openly before the cameras just a few minutes ago, you are urging them to say something different. We're all in this chamber. When he did a comparison of the agreement that he brought as a minister and the agreement that is before us, and concluded that in essence there is no difference. So why did the NDC oppose it? He said, why did the NDC oppose it when in essence what he brought and what the NDC brought are the same?
In fact, he added he's been vindicated.
And then he said that he has been vindicated. So, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker is reminding us of what was said. Mr. Speaker is responsible for the records of this House. Speaker is responsible for the records of this House. And so what has been said, he can remind us to straighten us. Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Minority Leader.
Oh, what's the problem?
Yes, Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the Majority Leader has a duty to ensure the peace of this House. Today is the last day of the Ramadan. and tomorrow is Eid. I don't want the majority leader to lead any of us here into temptation. He knows the conditions behind him. He knows the conditions behind him. And if he knows his own condition, he should not attempt to bring trouble to this side of the house. We have told you that we are opposed to this. Don't now pick us out of context. And Mr. Speaker, you are the presiding officer. Mr. Speaker, don't be tempted by the majority leader. Mr. Speaker, make the cuckoo now. Don't. I beg you. If the majority leader can be brief, he should be brief.
Yes, majority leader.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
when the minority leader, before the cameras, pleads with you to be brief, you have to be brief. So I'll be very brief, which is to say, Mr. Speaker should put the question.
In fact, you have to conclude.
Mr. Speaker, I conclude.
Yes. Yes, Honorable Minister, will you want to give a concluding remark?
Speaker, thank you very much, and to thank members for the very valuable contributions. I've taken notes of all the contribution, especially the long speech by the minority leader. Madam Speaker, it's important that I point out key changes to this agreement. Indeed, there are provisions in this agreement that did not change, but there are fundamental changes that I must note. For example, in their old agreement on growth and sustainability levy, we now have flexibility. They had a fixed. Huh? No, you say, oh, but why? But that's a changes. It is important. Oh, please, it's the same agreement. I'm not contradicting the leader, and I can't contradict my leader. I cannot. But it's important to point out that, for example, there's a new provision that says that the company shall pay to the government of Ghana all other fees, levies, and charges as provided under applicable laws. Under the old agreement, it was fixed at 1%. Here, there's flexibility to allow the government of Ghana to clock in anytime there's that opportunity. So that flexibility has been provided. Madam Speaker, in terms of royalty, as we all know, we had a fixed royalty of 10%.
Honorable Minister, I'll urge upon you to also make it brief.
Well, I'm making it brief. Madam Speaker, but it's important that I point out that this new agreement has really made critical provisions that are important, and we must point them out. There was a lot of noise made about the fact that royalty was reduced to 5%. Today, I'm proud to say that at the current rate, the royalty will be 12% and not a 10% fixed rate, because of the sliding scale that has been approved by the House.
Yes, minority leader.
Oh, please. I'll draw the noise. Let's
Yes,
make
the noise is withdrawn. Yes. Yes, it's withdrawn. Yes. Yes. So
I did. Madam Speaker, something very important that I must also add is a new addition. You know, we wanted to be sure that the communities and that this mining of lithium will not also come to add to the destruction of our roads. So a critical provision that has been inserted is that within 6 months from the ratification of this lease agreement, the company will undertake a feasibility study for the construction of a jetty, a barge, and a mini port system of appropriate size. And this is very important because we want to make sure that we don't focus on destroying our road. Madam Speaker, I think that for the people of Ewoya and other communities who have waited for almost 3 years. I think this is a very important day for them because there's a lot that will happen in this community when this project takes off. And I want to urge all our members to basically vote, defy their leadership, and support the majority. Defy Afeyomaki. I will draw that, please. I'll draw that. Please join us in approving this agreement. I thank you.
Honorable members, I think we have concluded the debate. Yes, Minority Leader, after the conclusion of the debate, what else?
Speaker, with respect, just want to put on record that the entire 87 minority caucus of this House vote en bloc against this agreement, to the extent that, Mr. Speaker, the minister did not carry our concerns on board and insisting to carry the report in its present form and shape. We cannot be part of this. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, we vote en bloc in rejecting this. That is when, Mr. Speaker, you put the question. Mr. Speaker, we are signaling that when the question is put, this side of the House, all 87 are voting en bloc.
Minority Leader.
No, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader, you know, you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand.
I'm serving notice.
I didn't put the question, and you are
as you
voting.
put the question, you know that this is our position. So, Mr. Speaker, we want Hansa to capture same.
Very well.
So that when you put the question, we don't need to come back.
Very well.
So Hansa should capture.
Very well.
That when the question is put for the ratification of this agreement, the 87 members of the minority caucus will vote en bloc, and we hereby vote en bloc against this agreement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
So, Minority Leader, what happened if part of the minority vote in favor or against the motion?
Mr. Speaker, I am saying that
Very well.
we are against it because the concerns we've expressed have not been addressed.
Very well.
That is all.
Very well. Honourable members, at the conclusion of the debates, I would put the question. As many as are in favor of the motion, say aye. Those against, say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. All members, let's proceed to take the consequential resolution numbered 11 at page 4 of today's order paper. Yes, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources.
I beg to move that resolution numbered 11 on page 4 of today's order paper be moved. I think.
All members, the Minister has moved for the resolution. Any seconder?
I second the motion, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, the resolution has been moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. This being a consequential resolution, I will put the question. The question is, as many as are in favor of the adoption of the resolution numbered 11 at page 4 of today's order paper, say aye. Those against, say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The resolution is accordingly adopted. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we were hoping that we will end the day at this point, but there's a matter that has been pending for a long time, the establishment of the committee for the purposes of auditing the report on the financial statement of the Office of the Auditor General. Motion number 18. Motion number 18. It's a very brief one. We can just take it. No. It's a brief one. Oh, motion, the committee, just a committee. Just to establish a committee. There will be no debate. There will be no debate. Oh. Just the committee.
Honorable Jerry Ahmed.
You have members on
Ahmed.
it. You have members on it. No, this is a constitutional obligation.
You see, this is a committee which is already formed by both sides.
Speaker, let us always go by our words and have good faith in every transaction or engagement. I understand that it's just there are several other things. We just had to move a motion. We agreed.
Because the membership has already been agreed upon by the House.
Let's end on a good note. Tuesday, we come and take it. Lisa, it's just Tuesday, just that one. But if it is let it be no. No.
Mr. Speaker, please. Mr. Speaker, this is a very important motion. A motion that is to lead to the constitution. Jerry, please. That is to lead to the constitution of an ad hoc committee that will audit the accounts of the Auditor General, which is a constitutional imperative.
Honourable members, with all due respect,
we'll do this.
For me, this is a consequential matter because both sides of the House have already agreed on the membership of this committee made up of Honorable Kofi Bente Afu, Honorable Matthew Hindam, and Honorable Rataisa. The House has already agreed. Both sides of the House has already agreed on this. So this is just a formality.
All this, we could have done it earlier. We could have agreed on same. Speaker, all of this.
But it's better late than never.
Speaker, well, so it is also better late
we would have done this
to take the other motions
by now.
Which are also consequential. Speaker, no, we didn't agree at conclave. I was at conclave. We never agreed. No. Let's stop this. We never agreed. Let's stop this. Let's be fair to ourselves. We never agreed at conclave. What is wrong if we are closing on this note and then coming on Tuesday, come back on Tuesday and take it? Why? What is wrong? Well, I'm raising, Speaker, respectfully, I'm raising quorum. I come. Yes, I'm going to do that.
Mr. Speaker,
let me hear you.
Mr. Speaker, this is the order paper for today. This is a business that is advertised to be taken today, and we agreed that at conclave that we'll take it. Jerry, this thing we have to stop. We had agreed. Yes, we had agreed. This your insistence that a business that is being advertised to be taken today, you get up and say that you will take it. On what authority are you saying that a government business cannot be taken? So your caucus can say that business cannot be taken. Who will take it? Who will take it?
Yes, let me hear you. Honorable Jerry Ahmed, yes.
Respectfully, let me reiterate the point that at conclave we discussed issues to be dealt with today. This was not part of it. And I'm saying that in good faith, we have decided to do a lot of things on Tuesday. Speaker, this can be taken on Tuesday. The two major leaders can have an understanding. Speaker, I am not against this. I am not against accountability. My name is not mentioned in anything. I am dealing with good faith and goodwill. And that is all. And when I'm talking, my brother Rossi should understand, I also represent the caucus. So I talk based on what the caucus has agreed for me to come and deal with. So it has nothing to do with me personally.
You see,
so you
when I am looking
about this.
When I'm looking at this particular business, I cannot describe this to be a government business, because if the committee among the various caucuses have agreed on their own members to form a committee in order to do an act, however, that is supposed to be adopted by the House. To put a question to adopt it, I don't see any difficulty about it, because both sides have submitted names and the names have been put together for the House to adopt. So this is not any business that will even be debated. Because this is consequent upon the two sides of the House agreeing that 3 people should go and perform an act. Honourable members, within a second we can take this. Motion number 18, Majority Leader.
Speaker,
yes.
Speaker, before the Majority Leader, respectfully. Speaker, if you insist, because I believe that it's a parliament of two sides, and I believe that consistently we should show good faith when we agree on matters.
But
Speaker, if it is your, respectfully, Speaker, if it is your view you want to go ahead, Speaker, that's fine.
But I agree with you that parliament is made up of two sides. Now, one side has produced a name and the other side has also produced a name. So the House will adopt whatever the two sides have done. The motion 18 is just agreeing on what the caucuses have already agreed upon to do a particular work. That is all. It's not that now that the caucuses are going to agree. They have already agreed and they put the names together already.
Mr. Speaker, my recollection is that yesterday you were going to take this motion, but both sides said they were tied. And I'm told that you said we should take it today because both sides were tied. So it's an agreement that you had yesterday. And the members on the committee drew my attention that this thing has been pending. And this is not government business. This is actually our business as a parliament. It's not even government business. And it's the responsibility of my colleague and I to make sure that this committee is established. And, you know, there's a very important name on the committee, Honorable Matthew Yindam. So if there's a committee and Honorable Matthew Yindam is a member, and you are seen opposing the establishment of the committee, it doesn't look good for your side. It doesn't look good for your side. Yes? Exactly. It's been there a long time. It's been there a long time. It's been there a long time. So why are you keeping Matthew waiting long time? Why are you keeping him waiting? So, Mr. Speaker, I move that we take motion number 18. I so move.
Our members, motion move. Any seconder?
Speaker, I rise to second the motion.
Our members, motion moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. Our members, clearly this is not a motion that calls for a debate, because both sides of the House has already agreed on the composition of the committee. So I'll proceed to put the question. As many as are in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. And the motion numbered 18 at page 6 of today's order paper is adopted. Honourable members, having adopted the motion, it is to be placed on record that the following members are recommended for appointment: to audit and report the financial statement of the Office of the Auditor General for the year ending 31st December 2024. The members are: 1. Honorable Kofi Bentel Afu, Chairman. 2. Honorable Matthew Nyindam, Member. 3. Honorable Atta Issa.
Speaker, the proposal is that they return with the report within 30 days.
Very well. The committee is to work and report to the House within 30 days. Yes, Honorable
Speaker.
Yes.
It's 5:15, and we've done nearly 5 hours. Speaker, on that note, I move that in the absence of any further business, the House be adjourned until Tuesday midday. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Speaker, we are not opposed to the application, save that we were wishing to see the 189 Battalion. Speaker, let me also take this opportunity to wish Dr. Mahmoud Baumia a happy Eid, and all Muslims in Ghana, especially those ones in the Futu, Damongo, Wejagbawe, Anyas Hutum. All of them, we wish them Boku Central.
Yeah, we have already commented on the Eid Fitr statement. All members, motion moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. All those in favor of the motion for adjournment say aye. Yes.
Speaker, I'm not arresting the motion, but a job I have is also to see to it that members visit their constituencies well prepared. Mr. Speaker, the chief whip of the majority caucus, he is supposed to be in charge of key welfare issues of members.
Honorable Minority Leader, with all due respect, I please don't state this into the record.
No, Mr. Speaker, I'm talking about common fund. No, Mr. Speaker, I'm talking about constituency issues. Statutory allocation. It's not about, Mr. Speaker, statutory allocations are very important. He is the chief whip. He's supposed to get the ministers to work in ensuring that members of parliament get what is required of them in their constituencies to do their work. We have a long holiday. MPs are going to face their constituents. And we have a chief whip who is sitting here, and he always comes and tells the ministers, do your job, do your job. Mr. Speaker, members have concerns, and you should know. You should know. They are supposed to get projects done in their constituencies. They are supposed to see to the welfare of their constituents. That's your responsibility. Nobody forced chief whip on you. You wanted to be chief whip. So wake up and do your job well. If you can't do your job, resign.
Now, Minority Leader. Honourable members, all those in favor of the motion for adjournment say aye.
Mr. Speaker.
Those against say no. The ayes have it. the House is accordingly adjourned till Tuesday, the 24th day of March 2026 by the business statement we agree at 10 o'clock. Majority Leader, by the business statement we agreed on 10 o'clock.
No, we agreed on 10 o'clock. No, the reason is that we want to take the bills. Yes, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, yeah. Yes.
So the House is adjourned to 24th day of March 2026 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon.